Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Secondhand Styler, the series where I show you my top tips and tricks to shopping secondhand and how you can get more for your money. Now in today's episode, I'm going to be showing you the things that you might be doing that cheapen how you look and what your outfits look like, but also how you can fix these problems on a budget. I will leave as much information as I can down below in the description box, but without further ado, let's get into the video. First up, and it's a topic I talk about all the time on this page, and that comes down to the fabric composition of your clothing. There are just certain cheap and synthetic fabrics out there that just look cheap, down to the way they fall on the body, the way they crease. You can spot them from a mile off. And I'm not saying all synthetic materials look cheap, because there are some out there such as synthetic blends, which are actually really nice and soft and they look really nice. But there are others that just feel crispy, that look a bit crispy. Sometimes they look really see-through. So I would always avoid wearing those materials. But just because those fabrics are considered more affordable doesn't mean that they necessarily are. You can absolutely get your hands on some beautiful fabrics, organic and naturally occurring fabrics on the secondhand market. Some of my favorites include, but are not limited to, cotton, silk, linen, leather, wool, cashmere. As an example, today I'm wearing a 100% linen little cropped jacket. I bought this in a charity shop for under £5. If perhaps you don't like shopping in charity shops, there are some amazing second-hand websites out there where you can actually search for the specific item you're looking for. And I really do think having quality basics is such a great way to create a very luxurious foundation to your outfit. So I'm always on the hunt, particularly for linen, cotton, leather and cashmere. They're my favorite materials. Not only can I find them at really affordable prices on the secondhand market, but if you take care of them well, they will last you and look much better for much longer. So just because the fabrics look and feel better quality doesn't mean you have to buy them for a higher price point. You've just got to be clever with how you shop. Number 2, and there are just certain cuts of clothing that I think just look a little bit cheap. Now, a little disclaimer, these opinions are my own. So if the following items that I show you are items that you like, that's absolutely okay. But these are the items that I find generally just don't look as high-end as some of my more preferred silhouettes. The first one, it's got to be skirts and dresses with a high leg slit. They're just not for me. I don't think that leg slit is necessary. I don't think it's particularly flattering either. And I just prefer something a little bit more chic and leaving something to the imagination. But my solution to this, if you are wanting to show a little part of your body, or perhaps you're looking for that sort of leg slit look, but you don't want to do it in a leg slit manner, go for something asymmetric. I love an asymmetric cut top or an asymmetric hem on a skirt. I think that looks a little bit more edgy. It also looks a little bit more high-end. And I found so many gorgeous asymmetric tops in charity shops, on Depop, on Vinted. So I would say swap out the leg slits for something asymmetric. And the second item in this category has got to be a cold shoulder or cutout style top. Again, I just don't think that this style of top really feels elegant or high-end. If you want to give that sort of appearance but in a more elevated way, I would go for an off-the-shoulder top that still shows that really beautiful decolletage area, but in a more fashion-forward, considered way. And again, super easy to find on the pre-loved market. Number 3, and that's not to abandon your clothing care. Now what I mean by that is you can have the most beautiful clothing in the world, but if it's got a stain on it, or you haven't ironed it or haven't steamed it, it's just not going to really be maximizing its potential. An item that I own which really makes this so much easier for me is I've just got a little affordable steamer. I bought it on Amazon. I think it was about £40. I literally keep it right next to my wardrobe, and whenever I get an item out and I just think, do you know what, it just needs a tiny bit of a steam or an iron, it's so quick, it heats up in about 30 seconds. I run over it for a couple of minutes and immediately it takes it from this level to this level. This is the one I've got here. It's a nice little compact size. It's by Russell Hobbs. There are loads out there on the market. I will link this one down below for you. I really like it. As I say, you can shop around if it's not your thing. If I could change it, I would probably change the colour because I'm not particularly a big fan of purple, but I get my use out of this, and I always like to kind of lay out my clothes the night before and then give them a little steam so they've got time just to hang in their position overnight. Another little thing I like to carry around with me is a little stain stick pen. I will link the one I use down below. And these are all just tiny little things that you can do to maintain the quality and the overall look and appearance of your clothing, which is going to not only keep your clothing looking great for longer, saving you money in the long term, but it also just contribute to your overall appearance and just looking a little bit more chic, put together, and thus not looking cheap, for lack of a better term. Number 4, and we're on to the topic of accessories. Now this is a big one because I think accessories can make or break an outfit. And the first thing I'm going to say about accessories is to consider the material of them. For me, I can tell a cheap and tarnished piece of jewellery from a mile off. And I'm talking about those pieces of jewellery that turn your fingers green, that start to rust when you're wearing them. And to be honest, for the price you're paying for some of those high street pieces of jewellery, you can get gold plated jewellery on the secondhand market, and you can also find gold plated, silver plated jewellery on places like Etsy. You don't need to spend a fortune to have high quality jewellery. And of course, I'm not talking about fine jewellery. I'm talking about jewellery that you can wear every day, that's comfortable to wear, but it also feels a little bit more premium, and that is going to be the difference of an outfit that looks cheap versus an outfit that looks considered, put together, elegant and chic. I buy pretty much all of my jewellery secondhand. I love my vintage jewellery, so I love statement earrings, I love a vintage chain necklace, but I do also here and there like a luxury inspired piece as well. I'm not going to buy bad quality jewellery just because it is a luxury lookalike. But there are a couple of pieces I've found over the years that I think really do emulate that luxury aesthetic, but don't quite have the price point to match. You'll know I talk about this watch all the time. I've had this for many years. This is the Monica Seconda watch. I'm sure you can guess what this watch looks like. This watch is under the £70 mark, and I absolutely love it. I have also bought a couple of really beautiful pairs of pearl earrings on Etsy. Really, really great place to go. But I'm always looking out for those pieces that are under £100, but they still have that quality there. They're still either gold plated, gold, sterling silver, because what you're doing there is you're getting jewelry that looks great, but you're also getting jewelry that's going to last. And that does save you money in the long run. It really does. So investing a little bit more, I'm not saying to spend thousands of pounds on fine jewelry. I'm saying maybe if you spend that extra £10 here and there when you can, that jewelry is actually going to last you much longer, and you're probably going to be more considered when thinking about the purchase. Now, the second thing I'm going to say about accessorizing is don't overdo it. My general rule of thumb, and I say general because this isn't something I do every single time, is if I've got a statement earring in, I'm usually not wearing a necklace and vice versa. Or if I'm wearing a statement necklace, I'm wearing much smaller earrings. As for my fingers and my hands, I pretty much wear this watch every single day. I do sometimes layer it up with a little bracelet, but I really do think that less is more if you go for these statement pieces, which is the type of jewelry I like. I'm quite influenced by vintage jewelry and vintage style, and I'm not one for wearing, you know, loads and loads of earrings, loads and loads of necklaces. I think it can sometimes actually do the opposite and distract you away from the jewelry rather than kind of feeling cohesive with the look. So in conclusion, to wearing high quality yet affordable jewelry, you can either take the vintage and second-hand route, or if you prefer, because I know not everybody wants to wear second-hand jewelry, you can also find some really, really great brands out there that are offering high quality gold-plated, silver-plated jewelry, classy, elegant designs, and you don't need loads and loads of jewelry. You only need a couple of pieces that you can style with all of your outfits, and immediately you've taken your outfit from pretty plain to finessed and just feels more polished and finished. Number 5, and we're talking about colour. Now, this next point may not be for you, but it's something that really works for me from a styling perspective, but also from a cost efficiency perspective. And that's when you're making your outfits to stick to no more than 3 colours. Now, there's a couple of reasons for this. The first one being, I think once you've got more than 3 colours in an outfit, it starts to feel a little bit messy. And again, this is just a general rule of thumb. Of course, there are outfits that have exceptions, but generally day to day when I'm getting dressed, I usually go for 2 to 3 colours. It's very, very rare that I would introduce a 4th or a 5th colour. Not only does this make it much easier for you to style outfits, it also makes it much easier to shop for them, particularly if you create yourself a little bit of a colour palette. I myself have a colour palette of colours that I stick to, and they are white, cream, black, navy, khaki occasionally. And by having my core colours when I'm out charity shopping or secondhand shopping, it's much easier for me to feel gravitated to a certain rail or certain piece, because I know the types of outfits I'm looking for, the types of pieces I'm looking for, and therefore it's much easier for me to gravitate towards them. I'm not getting distracted by what's around me, because as you'll know, if you've been into a charity shop or a secondhand shop, it can be quite overwhelming. There's a lot to take in, and if you don't know what you're looking for and you're somebody that does get overwhelmed, that is a recipe for disaster. Now, another reason having a colour palette works well is it can actually help you with your spending, because you're fine-tuning the amount that you may want to buy and own. Once you've got a certain amount of clothing and a certain amount of colours, you're probably not going to want to have duplicates of said items. So it's funneling down the amount that you'll want to own in your wardrobe as well. Now, when it comes to actually styling those colours together, I've mentioned this in other videos before, but I'm a big fan of the sandwich method. I'm gonna put a little photo here somewhere so you can see how it works. But essentially, how it works is you will take one colour and you will match that colour to something on your bottom half. So for example, with what I'm wearing today, I've got this little second-hand blazer on. To tie in this colour, I would then go for either a white bag or some white shoes, and then I would contrast the top part with the bottom part with a different colour of trousers or skirt. So you can see I've got a little Strathberry bag here, some navy high-waisted second-hand trousers, and that would be the perfect example of the sandwich method. It just makes coming up with styling potential ideas way less overwhelming and daunting. I absolutely love it. I think it works really well. So definitely look into that if you get overwhelmed when you're getting dressed. Number 6, and that's not to be roped in to buying trends. Now personally, I would say I'm quite anti-trend. I think it's much better to find your signature style than to be constantly chasing after trends. They're called a trend for a reason, and that's because they're going to be here one minute and gone the next. Now, of course, every now and then I may see a trend and think, do you know what, I actually really like that. By following trends, it's very likely that you're going to end up actually just buying the cheap version of something, aren't you? You're going to want to have it there and then. Maybe you don't want to splurge a lot of money on it, so you're going to get the cheaper option. You're going to just look a little bit more mismatched, and the quality of your clothing isn't going to be at the caliber that it could. So what I like to do is, if I do see a trend that is a trend, I'll keep a note of it. I'll put it in my notes, I'll put it onto my Pinterest board, and if a couple of months down the line I'm still thinking about that item, then and only then will I consider investing in it, and I will always look for a high quality version of that trend, likely on the secondhand market, but then at least I know that it's something I actually do want, and I'm not just buying it because I'm seeing loads of people wearing it on TikTok and Instagram. I'm actually buying it because I like it. I'm buying it because it's something I love, and it's not based on what's cool or trendy at that moment in time. Another reason why chasing trends is going to make you look cheap is because you'll actually be spending so much trying to keep up with these trends. It's just not a sustainable way to shop, and I actually think mentally you'll be much happier in yourself developing your own style, finding what really works for you rather than trying to fit into an ideal that you're seeing put online. Buying those nice quality pieces that fit you nicely, that you feel good about, it's going to be much better for you in the long run than being swayed by online marketing tools and the trendy next thing. Number 8, and a piece of clothing that I really do not like. It's ripped jeans. I'm so sorry if you love them. They're just not for me. Jeans on the whole, I rarely wear, but if I am going to wear a pair of jeans, they're usually going to be a pair of white denim or a pair of black denim that I found on the secondhand market, but I wouldn't wear ripped ones. Again, I just don't think they have a very polished look to them. And my alternative to a pair of jeans or ripped jeans would be a nice, comfortable, high-waisted pair of palazzo trousers. They still can be worn really casually. You can wear wide leg trousers with some trainers. You can absolutely wear wide leg trousers in a relaxed and casual way. It's all down to the styling. The Princess of Wales does this very well, pairs them with some nice trainers. And what's great about a pair of wide leg trousers is they are so versatile. You can wear them on a night out, you can wear them to work, you can wear them in the day with some trainers. Highly recommend palazzo or wide leg trousers over jeans, particularly ripped jeans. Number 9, and this isn't actually something that you wear, but it is something that contributes to your overall appearance and how you may be perceived, and that's your personal grooming. Now personally, I prefer a more natural approach to your personal grooming. Generally what I like to do is stick to natural colours. So yes, I do love a winged eyeliner, I do love a bold brow, but I always like to stick to the colours that I already have on me. So I've got brown hair, so I go for a brown eyeshadow. I like the more natural approach to it. I just think this has a much more elegant look and feel. Again, it plays in to your look feeling cohesive. The same applies to hair. I like going for natural styles, natural colours of hair. I like to get creative and funky with my jewellery and then keep my hair and makeup a little bit more pared back. When it comes to nails, I like a shorter nail and with more natural colours. So I've got a light pink on my nails and I have gone a little bit funky with a gold tip, but that's probably as funky as I would ever go. So you can still have a little bit of fun, but I like to do it in a pared back way. Now, not only do I think the natural look feels more sophisticated, but it can also save you money because you're not paying for hair extensions every month, you're not paying for eyelash extensions, for any of that. I actually do the majority of my beauty treatments from home. I do my own eyebrows, I whiten my teeth from home. I've got quite a few home devices that I really enjoy using. This here is my light therapy mask, which really helps with keeping my skin clear. So taking care of your personal grooming can really elevate how you look and enhances your outfits. You don't need to spend a fortune or have really high-end makeup to still look like you've made an effort and to feel like you've made an effort. You can very easily paint your nails at home with a bottle of nail polish, which costs a couple of pounds. To give myself this at-home blow-dried look, I just use this Revlon tool. It's about £40. So I have a couple of tools that I use from home, which does save me a fair bit of money. There are several things that I get done that I don't have to go and pay somebody else to do. And then there are other things that I do pay for. So it's kind of down to personal preference. But on the whole, I would say when it comes to your grooming, the natural approach not only looks better in my opinion, but it can also save you a little bit of cash. Next up, and we're talking about undergarments. Now this is one that I almost didn't include, but I do think it's really important. And that's to own flattering undergarments that are versatile for all of your clothing. There's no point having loads and loads of underwear sat in your drawer that doesn't actually fit with your clothing. I've been there. I used to have all these random undergarments, and when I'd put them on under clothes, they'd leave strange kind of little silhouettes or little marks. One day I just said, you know what, I'm gonna donate what I can or get rid of what needs to be gotten rid of and just buy a couple of really well-fitting undergarments. I went to M&S, I bought some of their seamless underwear, and now that's all I wear. It just works so well with all of my clothing. I've got it all in some nice natural colours, and you would be amazed at the difference your clothing can look on you when you're wearing the right undergarments. The second thing I'll say about undergarments, and I hope this is a given, but bra straps, they should never be on show. I've got to say, having your bra straps on show does just look a little bit cheap. There are lots of ways around it. Change the thickness of the straps of your tops, or go for strapless, or go for some of the built-in bra style tops. I have mentioned a couple on here before, but it's just a very small change you can make to your style that will really make a big impact. We're very almost at the end of my list, but next up we've got balancing your outfits. I'm going to explain what I mean. Now when it comes to the fit of an outfit, it is very rare you'll ever see me wearing something that is tight on the top half and tight on the bottom half. I really think an outfit looks so much more premium when you've got a little bit of dimension in the outfit. So my general rule of thumb is if I'm wearing something tight on my top half, I'm wearing something looser fitting on my bottom half and vice versa. Now, not only do I think this looks better, but it's much more comfortable. And if you know anything about me, as much as I love to try and look nice, I also want to feel comfortable in what I'm wearing. I don't want to be sat there thinking, oh my goodness, I wish I hadn't worn this, I'm uncomfortable, this feels really tight. So as an example, in this outfit here, I've gone for a really nice tight fitting statement top, and then to balance out the tightness on the top half, I've gone for an A-line shaped skirt. And for me, that just feels much more balanced than having something entirely tight or having something entirely loose and baggy. And this is a really great tip that helps me with putting outfits together. And finally, we have logo mania. Now this is actually something that costs a lot to do, but doesn't particularly look expensive. I do feel like it looks a little bit cheap, and that's when you just go overboard with a logo. Now, I'm completely upfront and honest, I do love a logo. I've got Chanel earrings, I've got branded handbags, and I do think when worn in a tasteful way, a logo in an outfit can elevate an outfit and create a bit of brand association with said brand. But when done in the wrong way, when it's just slapped all over an outfit, not only does that cost a lot, but it actually has the opposite effect. So my general rule of thumb is no more than 2 logos in an outfit. So let's say I've got a branded belt on and a pair of branded sunglasses. I will then wear a bag that is a little bit more understated. The same if I've got a designer bag on and designer sunnies, I'll then go for a more understated pair of shoes and belts. And I've said this many times before on this channel, if you are careful with the accessories that you buy, you'll actually be able to incorporate them into most of your outfits. When it comes to buying my designer items, not only do I buy the majority secondhand, but I also ask myself, is this an item that is really versatile? And that's why I love things like belts, bags, and earrings, because they can pretty much be worn for all occasions. If you want to elevate the look and appearance of an otherwise plain outfit, throw on a designer belt, and immediately the whole outfit starts to feel, or at least for me, feels a little bit more premium and designer. But as I say, much like the makeup earlier, less is more. You don't need to have every single item on you branded or logo heavy for it to look expensive and luxurious. It's all about being tasteful with how you do it, understated. I don't like to use the term quiet luxury, but that kind of is the direction I'm taking this to. And as I say, the majority of my logo heavy items are bought on the secondhand market. That is my favorite way to shop for designer items these days. Always ask yourself, is this an item that will go with the majority of my wardrobe? That is really how you're going to get the most cost per wear out of your items. So those there are some of the things that you might be doing which are contributing to your outfits not looking as high-end as they could. As I say, these are all my own opinions, but I hope you've enjoyed this week's Secondhand Styler episode. If you did, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I post every single week, and I do sometimes post a midweek bonus video. And in the comments below, I would love to know some of the things that you think cheapen an outfit, so do leave them down below in the comments. As always, a huge thank you for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye!